We were on a vacation for 4th of July out in New Mexico.
Oh.
And on our drive there, my right breast just started swelling up. My breast got like double the size, red and hot and just painful. They said, yeah, we see something there. And I said, well, what's a mastectomy? Because I knew what the other two were. And he said, well, this is where we'll be removing the breast. And I was like, oh, okay, why? He goes, well, we could do that or you just wait. And I said, wait for what? And he goes, cancer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Did you see photos?
I did not see any photos during the
So
consultation.
you didn't really, it was going to be a bit of a surprise.
Yes. So I woke up after surgery and I was just like, something's on fire. I am burning. What hurts? I'll never forget that pain. When the nurses came to look at everything, I looked down and I was like, whoa. So he goes, well, I don't have really good news for you. And I said, uh-oh. That's when I found you. She goes, I got the perfect doctor for you. You're going to love her. I said, okay. And so we came back and then we met you and you showed me your work and I started crying and
No, I remember that, yeah.
and I looked at my husband and I was like, I knew something was off. Same surgery, completely different outcome, a great outcome. It sounds weird to say this, but I enjoyed my recovery. One night I left feeling good the next day. It's really hard. You're kind of in a tug of war inside and out. You know, like, if I do this, how am I gonna look? Will my husband still love me?
You've been through so much.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? So getting breast cancer is difficult enough. Soon after you've been told, you're going to have to make a decision about mastectomy, lumpectomy, reconstruction. And often you'll meet with the plastic surgeon to make those decisions. It's really important to know what you're signing up for and the complications that can be associated with any surgery. And today, I'm lucky enough to have one of my patients, Rhesa, here to share her journey of getting diagnosed with pre-cancer initially and then getting reconstruction after her mastectomies. And she's here to share that with us today. So first of all, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you start with the beginning, before you met? You know, we didn't meet back then.
Like from the beginning, what started it? We were on a vacation for 4th of July out in New Mexico.
Oh.
And on our drive there, my right breast just started swelling up.
Oh.
And so I went to, it's a small town in New Mexico. I went there and they couldn't see anything, but my breast got like double the size and red and hot and just painful. So they kept me there for 9 days. And during those 9 days, I was calling my doctors back home, like, what can I do? What can I do? And they're like, just get discharged and come home. So I did, and then in 6 months after that is when I went for my first ultrasound, and they found something at my 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and something behind the nipple. And so they said, well, now we got to wait for, because I was still swollen, for that to go down. And I think it was in January of 2019, they said, yeah, we see something there. We're going to have to look further into it. And of course, with the insurance that I had at the time, the referrals got lost in translation, all this and that. So by the time it came to, it was Christmas time. We're nearing 2020. And so they decided to do a lumpectomy. And that doctor said, okay, well, you have like precancerous cells. This
like
is DCIS. And I said, okay, what do I do about that? And he's like, well, let's just wait, give it time, and I'll see you in 3 months. Okay. Before the 3 months, I started noticing more nodules growing up my chest, you know, so I had told my husband, what do you think? He's like, just call it in early. So I did. He said, well, we can do another lumpectomy. Go back in there. I said, okay. So he did. And when he did, there was more nodules spread throughout my right breast. And he said, well, I think now, when I finally went back for my post-op, I think now it's time we look into like chemo, radiation, or mastectomy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what's a mastectomy? Because I knew what the other two were. And he said, well, this is where we'll be removing the breast. And I was like, oh, okay, why? He goes, well, we could do that or you just wait. And I said, wait for what? And he goes, cancer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that, you know, so I just don't want to wait. I got a family, I got young kids, you know, so I said, what else is there to do? And he goes, just wait it out. Okay, so I waited a little bit, you know, to talk to my family and my kids and everything. And then probably about 4 months later, I started noticing lumps on my left side. So I went and I had the MRIs done or something.
Yeah. The scan, you go through.
Yes, the scariest thing ever. So I did that, and they said there's something definitely there, and my general surgeon was like, well, now, do you have your mind made up? And I said, yeah, I don't want to wait for cancer, because what if it's too late and I waited too long? I said, so let's just do the double mastectomy. So we went in March 2020, the day COVID, the day they shut everything down. And when I woke up, I was in extreme pain. Yeah. Extreme pain.
Did you get reconstruction?
I did at the time, yes.
Got it. And you'd met with the plastic surgeon?
I met with the plastic surgeon.
Talked about your options?
Yes. But yeah, definitely. He was recommending that since I was already full size, I think I was like a 38D or something, he could get me back to that size.
Right.
Or bigger. Okay. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I don't see how that's going to happen, because in my mind, they're taking everything off. Right. Because nothing was really explained to me. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I was just chopping all this off. Where are they going to get this skin from?
Did you see photos?
Before?
During the consultation?
I did not see any photos during the consultation.
So you didn't really, it was going to be a bit of a surprise?
Yes, actually, yeah. And honestly, I didn't really feel like too confident in him. Mm-hmm. He kind of gave me a weird vibe, just kept touching me and kept doing, I could do this and this and this, and I was just okay. And it lasted a while, and I was just like,
Was your husband with you for the consultation?
No, I was.
Because he works hard.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he definitely was working. So.
It's intimidating, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it was weird. I'd never experienced anything like that or felt like that before. But yeah, so I woke up after surgery and I was just like, something's on fire. I am burning. What hurts? And when the nurses came to look at everything, I looked down and I was like, whoa. I was huge. Just huge mounds and tubes coming out of everywhere. And I had tubes in here, like 2 tubes on each side. And I was just like, okay. Well, the next day I had developed a fever. When I went home about a week later, when we were allowed to leave the house, he kind of brushed me off. Oh, I can't make it up there. You're going to have to schedule for tomorrow, because I guess he lives in San Diego or something.
Surgeon?
My surgeon. No, the plastic surgeon.
The plastic surgeon.
Because I was already done with the surgeon. He said, just keep meeting with your plastic surgeon and I'll meet you in like a month's time. So he kept brushing me off, the first 2 weeks. And then by the second or third week, at this point, I couldn't really feel anything. Right. But something was hurting on this side. And I kept saying, like, it hurts, it's hot, and it's not draining.
You had tissue expanders, right?
I had tissue expanders, yes, tissue expanders. Yeah. And it wasn't draining right. So I made numerous attempts to get some help.
Right.
And then he finally called and, okay, yeah, it's been 14 days. Let's take everything out, come to the office. So we went, and he's like, oh, it's beautiful, it's great. And I'm like, no, it hurts.
Yeah.
Something hurts really bad on this side, like underneath on the side. And he's like, no, everything's great, you look good. The worst pain I felt being conscious was those drains coming out on this side, because it felt from here to here.
Right.
Then it was very long. And then I had 2 little tiny tubes in here. Those hurt even worse. So I just kind of was like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how, whatever. Seen my regular doctor, my general surgeon. He said, everything looks good. You look fine. Surgery went great. It ended up being stage 1 DCIS. He goes, so we already fixed the problem, so you don't need to see an oncologist, but I would recommend just see one just in case. Well, that oncologist blew me off, was just kind of like, oh, you got your mastectomy, you're good. You don't need to see anybody anymore. Come back in a year and we'll test you. And I was just like, okay. No any other information from anywhere. I looked online, like, what can I do? What hurts? After that visit, I think it had been like a month or 2, and I slowly started to get black here and here, like where the incisions are.
Okay. Did they expand you in the clinic?
He expanded me once.
Okay, in the clinic.
Maybe twice.
Okay.
Twice before I seen the oncologist. And it started they said it was scabs. It's fine. Everyone gets scabs.
No,
and
you shouldn't get scabs.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
sure, you know. But yeah, he would expand them, and every time he expanded them, I would have to ask, I need pain medication because this is ridiculous. I can't yawn. I can't move my neck. I was full. I remember being so full, and it was just like so uncomfortable. Couldn't put my arms down, none of that. And then one night I got up to use the restroom, and I just felt leaking on my stomach and my legs, and I was like, what is that? So I get up to look, and my incisions opened up. Oh, wow. And I can see the expander.
Yeah, you're staring at it.
Literally, and I was like, we gotta go. So we went to the ER, and one of the nurses told me, oh, was this your doctor? I said, yes. And, we get a lot of secondary infections from this certain doctor. I said, okay.
That's great.
Yeah. What do I do now? And she's like, you'll just have to see him.
Yeah.
Again, reached out to him, his staff, sent pictures, phone call after phone call. The most he was able to do for me was do in-home nurse services.
You mean they didn't say come to the office right now and we'll check on you and make some plans to take you back to the OR?
No.
Okay.
None of that. So antibiotics. My nurse came, packed it, and she's like, this is getting bigger daily. The hole is getting bigger daily. I can tell you're getting necrosis even further. Right. She's like, I'll have to call and make some moves. I said, okay, thank you. Probably about 2 weeks after that, once I finished all my medication, he said, okay, come in, let's check. And sure enough, he's like, oh yeah, you have necrosis on both sides. Let me see what we could do. Okay, scheduled me for surgery. Again, during COVID, during COVID, we had to go through all these screenings.
It was much harder.
A lot harder to get anything done. So when I wake up from that surgery, he said he told me everything while I was in the surgery in the OR, and I said,
You don't remember?
I don't remember anything. He goes, yeah, you asked me for a 12-pack of Coronas. You don't remember? Get it? Coronavirus? And I was just like,
that wasn't very funny.
I was like, not in the mood.
Right. Exactly.
So he goes, well, I don't have really good news for you. And I said, uh-oh. He's like, I had to completely remove your expander. Right. You were severely infected, necrosis. I took about an inch from top and bottom, and I just kind of tacked you together. I couldn't close it up or fit an implant or expander in your left side. He goes, I exchanged your expander on your right side. I had to take off the small necrosis that was there. He goes, centimeters, nothing big, nothing dramatic, but I was able to close you up. I said, okay. And he goes, but I had to make another incision in your, I think he said something mammary.
Inframammary fold. That's the lower part, where your wire typically sits for breast.
Right. So, and I said, well, what's that? And he goes, underneath, it's easier to get in and out.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, all right, thanks. He goes, but I was able to get it the size that you're comfortable with. And I just remember feeling huge. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'll be good with this one. So a year goes by.
So wait, this side you hadn't...
Necrosis.
You had no reconstruction, right? So you were
nothing.
Kind of
I was flat, tucked
this
in.
Side was big.
This side was big.
Okay.
Yes, it was. This one was walking through the door, not this one.
Right.
Okay. So.
But you're at least healed at this point.
Yes, I was.
Healed,
I was healing.
Training, no open exposed tissue expander.
No, nothing. Okay. Nothing at all. On this side was good. Finally, no complaints or anything. But after, after I started healing, it started to hurt, and I can feel the bag moving. And so I had told him, he's like, well, let's just keep an eye on it or whatever. So a year had went by because he was playing cat and mouse with my insurance from what he said. I decided, you know what, I'm bored at home. Yeah. I'm going to go work with my neighbor. Nothing strenuous, just we did very light work. I was picking up a cardboard box and I felt a pop. And I was like, oh, what was that? So I told her, I was like, I felt something pop in my chest. She goes, no, you're overthinking. No, I felt a pop in my chest. Now, mind you, I was a pretty good size, and it slowly, you could see it throughout the day just deflate. And I could feel, every time I moved, I could feel the fluid.
This was the expander?
The expander.
Still, because you swapped an expander for an expander.
Yes.
Got it.
And he did fill me up once after that. He's like, I think we might have reached your max. I said, good, because it's painful. Like, I can't, I wanted him out. It felt like a rubber bag or something inside my chest. I could just always feel it poking. It kind of poked, and I can feel the port. I could feel that.
Metal.
Yeah.
It's quite hard.
Yes. And that always bugged me. I'll never forget the way that felt. Even feeling it, it's just, it's weird. It's hard and not comfortable at all. So that popped. He went in and said, well, what were you doing for it to pop? And I said, they're not supposed to pop. Yeah. They're not supposed to pop. He goes, well, he exchanged it again. So that was my third surgery. So he exchanged it again, filled it up, but not a lot. He said, I'm not going to fill it up all the way like it was. Your skin's stretched out and you're ready for implants. I said, okay. I think a few days later, his front office called and said, we had to drop your insurance. We no longer work with them. I said, well, I have a PPO. I should be able to continue with my doctor that was working on me. No, it don't work that way. Sorry, good luck. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. I'm flat on one side and I have this expander on the other one that's half filled. Right. It looked like I was carrying a bag of, a Ziploc baggie of water around.
Right. It is like a water balloon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not filled all the way.
Right.
So after that, I found you. Right. My doctor, Lorena.
Backing up a little bit, you had a latissimus flap too.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that. I do. I keep forgetting about that.
I didn't do your latissimus.
No.
Because that's why you were sent to me.
Yeah. So that's what had happened.
So you had no recon on that side because they had to take out the exposed tissue expander.
Yes.
And then at some point, you would have had a latissimus flap.
Yes, and I believe it was the same time that this one popped.
Yeah.
He had said, if we're going to go in, if we're going to go back in, I don't have enough skin or tissue for you in the front. Yeah. So what I do is, it's called a lat flap. That's what he kept telling me. And I go in your back. Have you ever heard of angel wings? And I said, no. And he's like, well, we give you angel wings.
My goodness.
And
I've not heard of angel wings.
That's what he's like, so I get that tissue and I bring it around and I give you new, beautiful skin. You'll look good. You won't even be able to tell nothing's there. Yeah. It'll look amazing. And I said, okay, when do you want to do this? So Christmas 2022. It was like
2 years later.
2 years later.
Right.
About, I think it was like 2 days before my birthday. Went in for surgery. I was in the hospital for 4 days. I wasn't allowed to get up and walk around. I had a Foley, and I had to stay on one side for several days. Yes.
Okay.
Stay on my right side with the pillow in the back. I just remember it extremely hurting really bad. And it was just, I kept, like, when I finally went home, I kept telling my husband, like, something hurts me really bad. It feels like pinching. I feel pinching. Mind you, I'm covered up. Only the nurses are changing the bandages, so I didn't see anything. But when I got home and was changing my bandages, I noticed I had what looked like railroad tracks on my chest and my back. I had over 145 staples.
Oh, my goodness.
On my left side and in my back. And I'm like, that's what hurts. I also had stitches. So when I finally went back, taking all those out was horrendous. It was, if I had something to bite on, I would have bit on it, but I didn't.
We never put staples on the breast.
No.
Just let you know.
No. I'm thankful for that, because that was that was the most uncomfortable thing. And then to have drains on top of that was, it was pretty rough. Now that recovery, it was from the latissimus flap. Yeah. That recovery was awful. It messed with my shoulders. I walked like with my arm out because I had all this extra skin underneath that he was going to take out on a later day. And that's when he was going out of my network, all this and that. But I never heard from him after that. I stayed that way for a good year before I went and saw the doctors.
Right, and then your breast surgeon sent you to see
Yes.
me because your latissimus was very poorly executed.
Yes. She said, I have the perfect doctor for you that you won't believe it. She's going to blow you away. And I said, okay, so well, I'm willing for anything. Like, I want to feel whole again. She goes, I got the perfect doctor for you. You're going to love her. I said, okay. And so we came back, and then we met you, and you showed me your work, and I started crying. And
I know, I remember that, yeah.
And I looked at my husband, and I was like, I knew something was off with this completely because I couldn't even move my arms. Could barely move my neck. Right. It was uncomfortable to sleep.
Right. Well, first of all, the skin paddle that they'd taken from the back was way too big, right? It was sticking out.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
It was not right.
No, not at all.
And then because they took such an amount of tissue from the back, which was not necessary, they made a humongous scar on the back, and it was wrongly orientated. It's this way.
Yeah.
Or angel wings, which I've not heard.
Yeah.
And as a result, it limits your arm movement. I mean, you couldn't move your arm for quite some time properly.
Yeah.
Right?
About a little over a year.
Right.
It was hard for me to put my arm all the way up.
It was terrible.
Yeah, very terrible. Very uncomfortable. The worst recovery I've really ever experienced.
Right, and it shouldn't be like that.
No.
And basically, we did the quick revision, so we took off that extra lump.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Couldn't do the back because he'd already done what he'd done. And then later, interestingly, despite your very bad experience of a latissimus flap, which I am a big proponent of, and I do many of them, you chose to get the same thing done on the other side.
Yes. As crazy as it sounds.
Right?
Yeah.
And I did that for you.
Yes, you did.
So tell us about that experience.
That experience.
Same surgery.
Same surgery.
Yeah.
Completely different outcome. A great outcome. It sounds weird to say this, but I enjoyed my recovery because it was not horrible.
We had no expander.
No expander. Yeah. I couldn't even tell that I even had an implant put in with that surgery at the same time. Yes. Right. That was a surprise because I was always told it was done in steps.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I was expecting. But when you said, no, I can put the implant in the same day, I was just like, can you really though? Not what I heard. Right. But
well, you'd already experienced the other way.
Yes.
And then, do you remember staying one night in the hospital?
I do.
It wasn't an ordeal, right?
It was not an ordeal. It was one night. I was the first one. I was there for 4.
Yeah.
One night, I left feeling good the next day. Everything was well managed. Nothing.
No Foley.
No Foley. No Foley. Thank goodness. Yeah, and everything was great. I really have 0 complaints at all. Yeah, it was really good.
Well, you've been through the ringer, and I think it was very courageous to opt to have a latissimus on the other side, right? Having gone through what you did.
Yes.
But we did orientate the scar within the bra line as opposed to the angel wings.
Yes.
I mean, that's a huge difference, right?
It is.
From a recovery standpoint, and even now when you look at your back.
Yes.
Right?
And you know what's crazy is I show off my back to everybody. I said, look at this side. And then, can you tell? And they're like, no. I said, yeah, but you could tell on this side. I stick out everywhere. And they're like, you're fine, though. This tells your story. And I'm like, it really does. Horrible and good. There's a happy ending. Yeah. You know, so I do like to show it off. I even like to show off your work. Like, I do have friends that have had breast cancer and reconstruction and everything. I said, well, this is what my doctor did. This side. Don't look at this side so much, but this side. I said, you know, she's great. You're amazing.
That side we now look more symmetric.
Yes.
Say, right? Because we gave you that. But I want to revisit, because I know you've gone through an awful lot. I mean, you're so brave throughout of this. I mean, you're like the calmest person I know, because the last time we did a revision, your heart rate was high.
Yes.
In recovery, and I think my heart rate was super high.
After my yes.
Do you remember that?
I do.
So just put her in a room, bring her husband, and feed her.
Yes, and then it would come back down. Yes.
Right. So knowing what you know now, in hindsight, is there anything you think you would advise, like if your friend was going through the same thing, let's say they were just diagnosed, anything you would think about that you would have maybe done a little bit differently?
Yes, I probably would have researched the surgeon a little bit more.
I think it's hard, though, isn't it?
It is hard.
You've just been diagnosed.
Yes.
Told you need a mastectomy.
Exactly, because it's hard to wrap your head around something like that in the first place. Like, to get that diagnosis and then being told, like I asked my surgeon, like, what do you think I should do? And he said, if I tell you what to do, I'd be playing devil's advocate. And I was just like, okay. Well, going home and trying to sleep on the decision was just kind of like, I don't know what to do. Okay, do I get a second opinion? Family members telling me to just wait. It's really hard. You're kind of in a tug of war inside and out. Like, if I do this, how am I going to look? Will my husband still love me? Will my kids see me the same? All that.
Yes, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. He better. But it's hard. So, trying to reach out to maybe like support groups. Don't be afraid to ask questions to your doctors, all of them, friends, and definitely look up your doctors, see anything, do the research.
I do have
for
one
sure.
video that I did, which is really telling people how to choose a plastic surgeon, including making sure they're board certified and making sure that even though your breast surgeon is recommending them, is it because they're a great surgeon?
Right.
Or is it because it's convenient?
Exactly.
You're in the same institution, it's easy, you share the same ORs, that kind of thing. There's a big difference.
It is a big difference. And I learned that by having my reoccurring visits with you. I've learned, like, okay, this wasn't right, and now it's right. This is how it should have been. That's how it shouldn't have been.
Right.
Like, and I always say, like, how did I get so lucky to experience that and this? Like, what is it? Like, I just never really, still to this day, can wrap my head around it. Like, was all this worth it?
Was it worth it? You've been through so much.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Now it is. In the beginning, now I feel great. Now I feel like, okay, it was worth it all at the end. And with every story, there could be a happy ending. And I feel like I'm living that happy ending now.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yes.
Very, very
Thank
glad.
you. Yes.
And then I want to talk a little bit about tissue expansion, because I remember it was really difficult, apart from just having the complications, but tissue expansion itself is not comfortable, correct?
It's not. No. It's very uncomfortable. Sleeping. Sometimes you can feel the water swoosh around, so to say.
And when you get the feels, it's stretching. And
It's
painful.
Yes, definitely. And he said I wouldn't feel the needles going in. Well, I felt those needles going in, and I can feel the coolness of the saline going in too, like filling up. That was uncomfortable. Like yawning, like trying to do anything with your neck.
Upper body.
Yeah, upper body. You take advantage of, you don't know it actually is all connected. Once you move a certain way, it's like, oh, don't move. Like, I remember, like, for a good 3 days after my initial refill, I just sat on the couch and cried. I couldn't even use the restroom. My husband had to help me up, and even then it was just like, pick me up from my waist. Don't touch me up here, because the pain radiated.
Right.
Like, and it's just from him filling me up. That I'll never forget that pain. And nothing was helping. And
because it's stretching.
It's stretching, yeah.
Hurts, right?
Take a Tylenol.
Yeah.
Don't.
It's crazy when you're not even when you start off like an A cup and let's say you're going to be a C or D. Yeah, yes, you can understand tissue expansion is going to stretch things, but when you told me you started quite large,
Yes.
you already have some tissue there. And even if it means putting in a small implant, they could have put a small implant and then come back and put a larger implant. That is the alternative.
I thought that's what I was going to get, but no. I think he expanded me maybe 3 times, and each time, each side was 200 cc's, and then he took out 100, and then he kind of just played with it. I just remember it being a long visit, like every time, and then leaving there, and I couldn't have my husband in the car with me because it was during COVID.
Right, which is, again, difficult.
Yeah, and, he's in the car, and I'm, like, looking at him like can't get the words out because it was painful. And, you know, the surgeon reassuring me, no, you're fine. It's typical. You should have that pain. And it's just like, no. It was horrible pain. And you told me I'm not supposed to feel anything, you know, so that was rough.
Right. Mm-hmm. And one thing you said at the beginning was when you met this surgeon, the vibe was off. It didn't feel right. I think that's a big thing because we're adults. We know when we see someone and how they make us feel.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter that they're a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. They're still humans at the end of the day. Right? Yes. And I have heard so often women say, oh, yeah, he's a bit of an asshole, and I don't like visiting him, but I heard he's a great technical surgeon. They shouldn't be mutually exclusive.
No.
What about being great technically and being a good human being?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Because you shouldn't not look forward to visits.
Right.
You know, or be creeped out or whatever. So I think that, to me, that really, you know, stuck out what you were saying. Yeah. Just not feeling quite right.
Yeah. In my head, from what I remember, is I was being felt up too long.
Yeah.
You know, just started to play and just like if he was playing with Play-Doh. Oh. And you know, one comment that always stuck out with me was like, well, you still have really nice skin, really nice. And then just kind of rubbed the side and I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is so inappropriate.
Yeah, and I looked at the nurse like,
yeah, is this for real?
Yeah, just kind of like that took me back, and I was just like, But throughout the process, I was just kind of like, well, my plastic surgeon said I had really nice skin still up there, you know, and then it was just like, you know, the skin lied. It did not want to be touched like that. Now that I think back on it, like I should have said something.
Yes. It's important.
It is. It's important. Right. Yeah. If it doesn't feel right, say something. Yes. You know. So, but then I didn't. In my head, this is the only person that can help me.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Women are very vulnerable when they've just been diagnosed. Mm-hmm. Even when they've been diagnosed a long time ago and they're getting revisions, they're still vulnerable because they want to get treatment.
Exactly.
They want to get sorted out.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is important. I will definitely say when you go for a consult or even follow-ups, if you can bring someone, even if it's your best friend, a girlfriend, or your daughter, like last.
Oh, my daughter.
Because it makes people behave a little differently, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I do that all the time now.
Right.
You know, but you know, during those times it was hard. You couldn't have anybody in there with you. Right. It was just the physician, the nurse, and you, and that's it. Right. And sometimes the nurse would have to leave the room because she's the only one in the office. Right. So it was just kind of like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. Right. You know?
I remember when we did it because we were seeing patients, you know, early, you know, throughout COVID, and so we had, I bought a stand and I had like people do FaceTime so that their loved ones could be on the phone.
Oh, that's smart.
They could at least see.
Yeah.
They were examining. They did one of the exam part. Then we just moved the camera a little
bit. Okay.
But it made it nicer for patients.
That would have been really nice during those times. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, thank you so much for your time.
Of course, thank you.
To share your really important experience, and I'm so sorry for all the hurt and pain, both emotional and physical, that you had early on. And it's been a real privilege to take care of you.
It has been a privilege having you as my doctor.
Thank you.
You've been the best.
Thank you so much.
Still hold you to the highest value.
Thank
you, Dr. Lee.
I'm Dr. Wai-Yee Lee. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon specializing in breast reconstruction and breast revision surgery, as well as cosmetic surgery of the breast. I have my own all-female solo practice here in Arcadia and Pasadena in Southern California. Please check out our website at labreastandbody.com, and hopefully I'll see you soon.